Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Slayer back here again with another video. Earlier today, I was actually over at the house that I grew up in. And while I was there, I went up into my old room, and I spent my entire childhood in this room, pretty much most of my teenage years in that room. And I also moved back into that room for a short time when I was going through one of the darkest, most depressing time periods with not only my alcohol addiction, but also just my life in general. I was completely lost in the bottle, and I did not know I couldn't find a way out. My addiction had definitely caught up to me. My life was falling apart around me, and I was also falling apart along with it. It was just a very, very dark time. I didn't know if I wanted to live or die during this time, guys. I'm just being honest. Every single day I was miserable, and the only answer, so-called answer, that I had for my problems was trying to drown myself in more alcohol, and that's what I did. It was months on end of isolating in this room and just drinking myself to oblivion. I'm lucky that I even made it out alive. And while I was in that room, I was just looking around, and I was just having flashbacks of laying in there and empty alcohol bottles all over the room, on the floor, in the bed with me. You get out of the bed, you step on one, they're all over the place. And when I looked down to the right of the bed, like the right corner of the bed, I had this memory pop up in my head of me on my knees, kneeling down with a bottle of vodka in my hand, one of the big bottles, like a liter bottle of vodka in my hand, and I was taking swigs of it, and every single time that I would take a swig of it, it would hit my throat, and I would just projectile vomit it. My body was completely refusing it, and I was trying so desperately just to get a little bit of alcohol in my system to be able to take away the withdrawals, because at this time in my addiction, this wasn't like my binges now, which are horrific. This was a different time in my addiction. This is when I was a drinker every single day, and I was drinking a 750 milliliter bottle of hard liquor every single day, and my body at this point was giving up. I wasn't eating. I wasn't drinking water. I hadn't showered in days. My room was destroyed. I remember my ex-girlfriend was at that point now where she was about to leave me. And at that time, I had gotten my hands on about 3 bottles of vodka, 3 big bottles of vodka. And I have no limit to my drinking. I can't stop myself. I have absolutely no willpower when it comes to drinking. So it was just very dangerous. Because before that, this was just such a hellish time period because I was broke. I had lost all my money. I was losing everything. I was losing all my relationships. I was living with different people, and I had lost all my money. So it was always a battle and a fight every single day on how am I going to get my liquor. So I would just get enough liquor usually throughout the day just not to die. But I was dealing with withdrawal on a day-to-day basis. So now I have 3-4 big bottles of vodka in my possession, and I can't even hold it down. I remember just that feeling of depravity. I can't really describe it, and that's why I'm making this video today, guys, is because it's a whole entire different level of sickness in the mind, and not only physically but also in the mind. When you're trying to force vodka down your throat, you're forcing it down, and your body, with alarm bells going off all over the place, is literally forcing it out. And that's how addicted I am. That's how sick I am. That's how much of an alcoholic I am, guys. I literally remember kneeling down, just a skeleton, no meat on my bones, dying, withering away. And that's what it was like. And that's what it's like now, every single time that I relapse. That's a day in the life of me when I'm in active addiction now. It's just nothing but liquor. Everything goes to the wayside. And I remember coming off of that binge after a couple months of just trying to drown myself in a bottle as my life was falling apart. I remember my dad finding me slumped over the bed. I literally was slumped over the bed. There was vomit. I know this is disgusting, guys. I'm sorry. But I remember there was vomit all over on the side of the bed where I was laying. And I was laying there with my shirt off. I was an absolute mess. And when my dad came in there, he was just like, son, please. It's time. You need to go get yourself some help. And during this time period, I just refused to get help. I didn't want to get help. I was scared to get help. You know, a lot of people were like, well, why didn't you get help sooner? You know, because I could have gotten help sooner. I was very ignorant in the beginning, but right before I went to my first detox center, I was refusing it. I just didn't want to go in because I wanted to almost stay in that madness. I had become addicted not only to the alcohol, but to the whole entire lifestyle of being an alcoholic. There was some sick part of me, I think, that even got addicted to the withdrawals in a way, man. I know that sounds absolutely insane, guys. Just hear me out. I can't understand it. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that to figure out if that's true or not. But I think there was some part of me that was even addicted to the whole entire process of the withdrawals and the going through the whole entire madness. I had become addicted to all of it. And I think during one of the darkest times in my drinking, when I was drinking every single day, just blacking out into oblivion, and when I would go through short time, like, periods of time where I wouldn't have alcohol and I'd be going through that hell, there was a weird, disturbing, sick part of me, I think, and it's really sad when I think about it, that actually I didn't enjoy the withdrawals. They were hellish, but there was so much pain in my life, especially when my ex left me and my brother backstabbed me and my life was falling apart. I didn't know what to do. All my friends were gone, that I almost enjoyed being in the withdrawal state or being at a detox center being taken care of, because my mind wasn't fixated on everything that was horrible, everything that was bad going on in my life. I know this sounds insane, guys, and that's not how it is nowadays, not at all. But during this time, which was, again, one of the darkest times in my life, I think I was slightly addicted to the feeling bad as well, just because, hey, I didn't really care if I lived or died. That's the sad part of it, guys, and now I do. And inactive addiction, a normal day for me, just waking up with no memory of most of the day and the night before. No recollection of time. I wake up, I don't know if it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. I have no idea. I have no recollection of time. It's like, and I remember that so many times, like, that's how it was in active addiction for me. I would just wake up and I would look, and sometimes it'd be dark in my window and sometimes it'd be light. And I remember sometimes the sun would just be coming through the window enough where I'd be like, I wonder if the sun's going down or if it's coming up. And I would have no idea, because it didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was getting the next drink. It's like I said, guys, I was just withering away. And each and every single time that I fall back into a relapse now, that's where it takes me instantly, right back to that place. Like, I pick up right where I left off. And that's how it is for us, guys. That's why we can't drink ever again. That's why we just can't drink, is because we pick up right exactly where we left off. If I went and picked up a bottle tonight, I'd be drunk within an hour. Probably 3/4 of the bottle would be finished. I'd be blacked out. I'd be probably passed out in my bed or on the floor or anywhere, who knows, maybe in the bathroom, waking up, not realizing what had happened. And the phenomenon that happens, the bizarre thing that happens once people like us drink, is that there just is no stopping until we're pretty much forced to stop. Whether that be we run out of money, or we go to a detox center, we're arrested, or sometimes we die. And I'd be right back in that cycle of drinking a 750 plus every single day, drinking myself into absolute oblivion, because that's all that matters. How am I going to get my next drink? What am I going to do to get my next drink? It's just a life that I don't want to live anymore, guys. It's just not. And looking at that room and remembering that time, it just really reminded me of why I'm not drinking, because there's so many reasons. There's so many reasons on why we're not drinking, guys. And you got to ask yourself that, why are you not drinking? Because I'm sure you have just as many reasons as I do, if not more. I was just trying to before, I hit a certain spot with my addiction, where it just became about oblivion. It became about getting blacked out just so I wouldn't have to think about any of my problems at all. And before, it wasn't like that. It was more like I was always trying to hit this sweet spot. And I would always go over it. Every single time I would go over it, because there's kind of like that sweet spot when you're drinking, where you feel good and everything's kind of nice, and the mood's lifted, and you're feeling more talkative. But it's never good enough, because enough is never enough. So you have to go and grab that drink and crack it open and have another one and another one and another one and another one. And next thing you know, you're completely obliterated. And the next day you're doing it all over again. And I can tell you this much, guys, and this is the honest truth. It's not even enjoyable for me anymore. At least a couple years ago, when I would relapse, that initial first couple of days would actually be enjoyable for me. And now it's not. The first day, I get drunk so quick because of the amount the copious amounts of liquor that I'm drinking. I just get wasted immediately. I go from completely sober for months on end to deadly blackout drunk, or alcohol poisoning levels drunk, and that quick. And my body doesn't have any time to process any of that. And so I get sick very fast. And same thing, I go right back to forcing liquor down my throat. And I would do crazy things to hold it down. I would usually drink it and then, try and eat something, or drink the first one and then throw the first one up and try and drink it again. And sometimes that would work, or, drink one and jump into a cold shower or whatever. I mean, that's the levels of insanity I was going to, just to try to hold poison down. Poison at the end. Poison. All I was doing was killing myself slowly. And at that time period, I don't know if I think that's probably what I was trying to do, maybe, because they say addiction is the slowest form of suicide. And I really think that's the truth, guys. It is the truth. It is a very slow form of us just dwindling away into nothingness. And at the end of our addiction, we are literally all alone. We have nobody, because we've destroyed every single relationship that we've ever had. So we're just completely all alone by the end of our alcoholism. We're laying in a hospital bed with nobody to come visit us, because we put ourselves in this situation. It's just not worth it, guys. It's just not worth it. It's a game of cat and mouse. I've said it before, it's a full-time job. Hiding that liquor, that was a whole entire other thing, hiding the liquor. And man, I would hide it everywhere. I remember I went into my backyard and literally dug holes. I'm not even joking, guys. There'd be little patches of dirt, and I would go out into my backyard and dig holes and shove the liquor down there and hide it and bury it, everywhere. I'm looking over, I would put it in I remember I stuck them in the grill one time, and people went to go cook out. They lifted it up, there was a bottle of liquor in there. They're like, what the heck? How did this get in here? Oh, this must have been Slayer. Who else would have stuck a bottle of liquor in here? I hid it everywhere. It's a game of cat and mouse. I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to put cologne on and put deodorant on, and nobody's going to be able to smell it. And people can still smell it. People always know when we're intoxicated. That's why I'm sober today. That's why I'm not going to go back to that drink. And I hope that you guys do the same. They always talk about playing the tape forward, and it's really true. We do have to play the tape forward. What's going to happen if we do have that first drink? What's going to happen? And for me, my entire life is going to fall apart, because it happens every single time. Just wanted to talk about that real quick, guys. Like I said, I kind of was having flashbacks, flashbacks, war flashbacks in my room earlier today. So I thought that I'd hop on here and share this with you guys. I'm extremely tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Life has been busy and hectic, but I love you guys, and I just want to make sure that I stay on this channel and keep talking to you guys, because you guys are very, very important to me. I love all of you. I appreciate all of you being here. I usually don't ask people to subscribe, but if you watch the channel regularly and you want to become part of the community, please subscribe. Because that way you can see my community post, you get notifications and stuff when I upload and all that good stuff. But I love you guys. Like I said, just wanted to hop on here because I was thinking about that. Just thinking about how dark that time period in my life was, and thinking about how crazy the insanity of me forcing liquor down my throat. And even though everything in my body was rejecting it, and I was still forcing it down my throat. What kind of damage does that do? That's scary stuff, guys. I don't like to think about it. So I love all of you. Please stay safe, stay sober. If you feel like you're gonna drink, excuse me, reach out. And yeah, man, with that said, I'll be back real soon. Peace.